Welcome to the CEN show, a platform where we learn from the world community. This evening, I would like to introduce everybody. We have Professor Amin Ra, got Brother Joe Hembrick, Brother Mashinda, Sister Aziza, got Dr. Charles, and I am your host, Rasuli Maskani. This evening, we're going to talk about Morant and killer rap music, and our guest is Brother Kwabena. Brother Kwabena, let's get straight into it. Let's go for it, brother.
I think when we spoke about this initially, the second incident with the gun waving had just occurred, right? Or had it occurred yet? I think it had just occurred, but we definitely want to do some discussion about John Morant and that first gun waving incident when he was in the strip club when the Memphis Grizzlies were playing an away game against the now Denver Nuggets that will be fighting for the championship of the NBA since they defeated a lot of y'all homeboys, like the other night. And you know that and I know a lot of us have that basketball background here too. Being hoopers in LA, I heard that discussion on one of the CEN network shows. Really good discussion concerning hoops some time ago. And this whole piece with John Morant and his actions and what precipitated his actions are really interesting, and also kind of ties into the last time we spoke when we talked about the hypocrisy of the NBA. So there were some other incidents that Ja was having to deal with things happening at his house, at a pickup basketball game at his house with another young brother that he got into it with. I believe something happened at a Foot Locker store or some store in a mall where he was called out to come supposedly handle some business there. And then, we had the incident where his sister, I think, was playing a volleyball game, and he was called out to deal with some things happening there, which it's just the whole atmosphere. And Ja, of course, with his mother and father right now. And he's also, as we all know, a superstar athlete, amazing hooper. However, he's caught up in this industry, and he's bewildered in his rap industry, like so many others are of that age group, a lot younger and a lot older. There was a clip of John Morant when he was, I believe, in junior high school, rapping some of the ratchet music that was out then, which was, we would say 10 years ago or 11 years ago, 2011, 2012, it was almost as bad as it is right now. So it's been like this for quite a while. Content of this music that's being force fed to the masses of our youth for the last several decades, really since the 90s, really since the end of the 80s, that golden age, 90s. It's been just really horrible. There was a picture the other day that today that they shared of our homeboy, Dr. Dre, and they called him legendary. And I was like, yeah, legendary abuser of women, a legendary ripping people off by thinking it's cool to spend $300 on a pair of headphones, an ideological father to the madness that we have today. And so I say ideological father or grandfather, because again, he was around during this 80s and 90s, and went from the World Class Wrecking Crew, and they just went over to NWA and Jerry Heller and just got out of control with the type of content back then. And so when we struggle with this music, a lot of times people will come back, well, I listen to NWA. That's one of the main things. And look at me. It didn't do nothing to me. Looking at it as an individual, when we need to think about the masses of our people, not just ourselves as individuals, or that my child doesn't listen, or that, I raise my children and they're fine. But it's like a song from Common that he had out recently called I Stand Alone. It says, not just my kids want the best for his. And so fortunately, a lot of us aren't affected in the same way by this madness, but we are all affected to a certain extent. And when our sisters can't feel free to go to a gas station in cities like Milwaukee, I'm sure St. Louis is no different, or Chicago, certain times of the day, Philadelphia, they can't go to a gas station alone without their head being on a swivel, or for fear that they may be carjacked or robbed today by these confused Africans, young Africans, and mainly, who think this is cool because they've been inundated with songs like Gremlin Superstars. And I would ask that you guys eventually, if anybody can check it out right now, while we wait, when we get to the comment part, or I could pull them up too. But check out the lyrics to the song Gremlins by Kodak Black, Superstar Gremlins. Check out the lyrics to that song, because I do want to bring those up a little later. But that song was in hot rotation from December 2021 up until January 2022. It's like every time we turn on the radio station, no matter what city we travel to, I should say a ratchet killer radio station that specifically targets young Africans, we'd hear this song about gremlins. And in the song, the rapper brags about when they could have been superstars. Remember when they were jacking cars. He talks about shooting people with witnesses watching. He talks about taking these tainted drugs, but they're not gonna do nothing to him because he's a super gremlin. And yet we got people, white folks and black folks all around the country, dying off this fentanyl and overdosing on these drugs. But again, this is what they're pushing on the radio for us. Ja Morant, NBA. So he gets checked again for pulling that gun. I think they said he gave $50,000 to that stripper that night in Denver. But the song that he's rapping to is the NBA YoungBoy song. The name of it escapes me right now, but it was definitely NBA YoungBoy. We looked it up. Just an NBA YoungBoy, and that's not NBA meaning the National Basketball Association. His NBA means never broke again, young boy. So he had to do what he had to do. You know, he had to go meet with the commissioner. He missed 8 games, 8-game suspension. And, you know, he was remorseful. He said, worked on himself. He came back. Their team, I think, still ended up, well, I think, were they still the number 2 seed? They may have been still the number 2 seed, but they were fluctuating back and forth with Denver at that time when he got in that trouble. But the day he came back, and I believe it was March 26th, well, sometime near the end of March, he came back, got reinstated with the Memphis Grizzlies. They were scheduled that night to play the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks had on their schedule that night also a rapper named Gucci Mane to perform. Gucci Mane, not man, but his Mane, M-A-N-E. That's how you say his name, how you spell his name, how he pronounces his name too, Mane, Gucci Mane. So Gucci Mane had a song out entitled I'm a Dog several years ago. I'm a dog, 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 I'm a dog. I'm gonna treat him like I'm dog. Beat him like a dog. Feed him like a dog and pass him to my dog. Played on the radio. Every once in a while you still hear it. Gucci Mane is a manager for so many other ratchet killer rappers. His main claim of fame is that he wears as much of the jewelry stolen from our motherland and anybody else pretty much. He always got all kind of jewelry on, materialistic ratchet rapper. So here we have Ja Morant coming back from the suspension, waving his gun, and he comes back to a game where Gucci Mane is performing in Atlanta. Now Memphis and Atlanta probably go number 1 and number 2 in terms of the most ratchet trap music. You know, and Memphis kind of like goes with the trap and the drill music. But again, that's what they playing, and they bring Gucci Mane out there to perform. Now Atlanta previously has had poor homie Quan. I'm sorry, his name is Rich Homie Quan. We got nicknames for a lot of these rappers out performing when he had a song called Flex. And that the chorus for that song said, Flex, get that wholesome X. She gonna want to sex every end in the set. That's in the chorus of that song. Flex in the chorus. Get that wholesome X. She gonna want to sex every end in the set. So basically, what you're doing is you drugging the girl and then you running the train on her. I was at officiate basketball, so I was at a game at this now abandoned wreck of a junior high school in Gary several years ago when that song was out. And I was doing the game, and between the games, I asked these young brothers if they knew the song Flex. And one brother, yeah, I know it. I said, what would you do if your mama went out to a club, party to have fun, listen to some music, dance, and somebody slipped a Mickey in her drink and they ran a train on her? What would you do? And the young brother was like, oh, it's killing time. He said, it's killing time. This is a brother in junior high school. But again, this is what the Atlanta Hawks have playing at their halftime. They have Gucci Man talking about beat him like a dog, feed him like a dog, and pass him to the dog, like pass him to my dog. Then there's another rapper. His name goes by the name of 21 Savage. I don't know if you heard of 21 Savage. Very popular right now. He's made a couple of albums with Drake and I think also J. Cole. J. Cole, yeah, he did an album with him too. So 21 Savage was at a basketball game, rapping this song. Is it called Bank Account? Yes, it's called Bank Account. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 meals in my bank account. In my bank account. In my bank account. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shooters ready to gun you down. 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 Hot, heavy rotation on the radio station, almost just as long as the song Flex. I forgot to mention how long Flex stayed in hot rotation. It came out in April of 16, one of the years, and stayed in rotation until like November. Hot rotation. Hot rotation means it's played 15 to 20 times per day, every day. Bank Account, again, a song that he also performed, played 15 to 20 times per day in the Chicago area, constantly. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shooters ready to gun you down, ready to repeat it about 21 times every time they play that song, 21 Savage, either 18 or 21 times every time they play that song. Shooters ready to gun you down, constantly, back to back, repeated into the minds of the masses of our youth, nonstop. He's performing at an NBA game. Also, this song says, "We're not with that rah-rah shit. My Glock cock, I don't get no F about who I hit." That's in the song. "We're not with that rah-rah shit. My Glock cock, I don't get no F about who I hit." Constantly on the radio and at the NBA, this is what they're playing at the NBA game. And these are the type of artists that they have coming to these games, and they're highlighting and showing their pictures. Sometimes they're performing. Oh, here's Jack Harlow at the game. Jack Harlow's a white boy, but they always showing him at the game. He's from Louisville. This song, what was the name of that song? I'm gonna pass that. I'm a passer like Stockton. So you know they like those lyrics, the NBA lyrics. And as y'all know, Stockton's the all-time NBA assist leader. So he's gonna pass the girl like Stockton. They got a song where, who was that? It wasn't Gucci Man. No, it was Young Jeezy. He said he gonna pass the girl like Brady. So this is constantly in his music targeting our children. And so in Harlow's song, he had a remix. In the remix, it featured, I believe Drake was on there. Drake may have been on there, but I know for sure Tory Lanez. That's the dude who got convicted. I think he's in jail right now for shooting Megan Pete. Had her bleeding the block. He shot her in both feet, like Bad Bob from we call him Tory Bad Bob Lane. Bad Bob is a character from a Judge Roy Bean movie that I saw when I was a child, Paul Newman, and he was the one who did the shooting. I think Paul Newman shot him and killed him. He was just a crazy outlaw back in the day, but then he shot this dude in his toes a couple times. So I would call Tory Lanez Bad Bob because he shot him in both feet. And this dude shot Megan Pete. He's convicted of shooting her on both her feet. Had her bleeding the block, which, by the way, she had a song out that she won awards for, was nominated for, entitled Savages, or Savage, where her and Beyonce called themselves Savage. And there's a lyric in that song where she said, "We gonna bleed the block." And so not too long before they get all these accolades, she's on the block in front of everybody to see. It's all on videos online everywhere, bleeding on the block. So Tory Lanez is on this song with Jack Harlow, saying all kind of crazy stuff. Lil Wayne is also on this song. And I mentioned that Harlow talked about how he's gonna pass her like Stockton. On Lil Wayne's ratchet verse, he goes one better and says he's gonna pass her like Magic. He's gonna pass her like Magic, who's number 2 all time in assists. So again, this is the type of stuff that's promoted and pushed by the NBA. Yet, like we shared last year, they want to do what they did with Kyrie and sanction Kyrie for showing a video or for promoting or saying that y'all should check out this video from Negroes to Hebrews to Negroes, something like that. And the hypocrisy of the NBA has to be checked and understood. So here we go. You know, Memphis tried to do what they did. They wasn't able to get by the Lakers that beat Memphis. No,
Yeah.
it was a Golden State. The Golden State or the Lakers beat Memphis. It was the Lakers.
It was the Lakers.
The Lakers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they beat Memphis. And a few weeks later, here he is again, riding in the car with his buddy, one of his good buddies, and they turn it up. And here he goes. He waves the gun real quick. His buddy tries to take the camera away. He does. He gets it away real quick. So you have to be real sharp in order to see the gun get raised. But y'all know social media and the people are going to be scrutinizing at this point. So they saw him. Gun was flashed again. So here we are. I'm not sure that they haven't announced what his suspension or what his issue is right now. But you know, he's in trouble again. And people have been saying, well, it ain't illegal, it ain't this, it ain't that. Well, you know, they got their own rules. I just saw where Jimmy Butler was fined $25,000 for not speaking after game 3. And it's like, you know, that's nothing illegal about that, but they got their rules, so you're gonna get sanctioned for that. So the NBA supposedly has their moral clauses. It doesn't pertain to the slop hop music that they promote, play, as we just talked about, as we just illustrated. However, they're going to sanction Ja Morant. Now, if you watch this latest video from Ja Morant, there's a song, and I asked one of my buddies, I hadn't listened to it yet, I just saw it real quick. And I said, hey, bro, so I know it was NBA Youngboy who Ja Morant was rapping to when he pulled the gun out the first time and flashed it. I said, and before I could finish, he said, it was Youngboy again. It was NBA Youngboy again. It's who he was flashing. I mean, who he's listening to when he flashed the gun this time. And this song by NBA Youngboy, I looked it up. It's called 1.5. 1.5 is the name of the song. And today I'm gonna share some of the lyrics to 1.5. And I wish I could share. Maybe I'll share some of this audio to it. But they were talking today about some cryptic message from him and how people are, like, I guess, kind of concerned. And he said he was cool. He just going to stay away from social media for a minute. And our thing today was that, well, he should also have some people hip him to some jazz and some conscious hip hop, maybe some neo soul or some classic soul. And maybe he should also stay away from this ratchet killer music for some time. So what Ja Morant is basically showing to us, or what he's about, or what he's showing, is what is happening out there in the general population. My brother Bernard Creamer, who wrote this book, Who Stole the Soul, The Weaponization of Hip Hop, he shared how this brother is just a superstar, well-known, with plenty of loot. But he's also bewildered by this music, as are so many of our other youth who are doing these carjackings, who are out here wilding and have been inundated with this ratchet killer music. There was an article I saw the other day I think it was from a year ago, and it was talking about actually NBA Youngboy and how the Memphis Grizzlies go out to practices songs made by this cat. And it ain't just the Grizzlies. I think it was Coco. I'm in love with the Coco. There's a footage of the Golden State Warriors several years ago on the plane rapping I'm in love with the Coco, a song about cocaine that they're rapping. And so we don't know, these cats are younger cats, you know, in their 20s. LeBron's 38, one of the oldest, and Haslam, I think, is 42 or something. But a lot of these cats, man, are, as we know, young boys. I'm not young boy. Ja Morant's like 23 years old. So I'm gonna see if you guys can hear some of this. We'll see this audio for this song 1.5. This is just the beginning of it. This is a song that we believe he heard, that he was listening to the last time he flashed the gun. And I'll share some of the lyrics in a second. See if you can hear it. Oh, okay, here we go.
1 sec.
1 sec. I ain't never did that. NBA Youngboy, by the way, until we get it to come back, this from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I have relatives out there, young sisters, relatives of mine, who hit me to who he was several years ago. And they're just in love with this cat. He has, I don't know how many children for how many different women, but he's like about 24 himself. Always in trouble. he had claimed that he understands the influence that he has with his music. And just like another rapper, NLE Chopper out of Memphis, who talked about that, he talked about being a vegetarian and all that. But then when you listen to their music, it's still about killing their own people and dropping in bombs. Okay, here we go. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all don't hear this ad.
All you have to do is point. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK and we'll be closer than 90.
Here it is. Hope y'all can hear this. Can y'all hear this? The music?
Yeah.
See, hear the lyrics.
Can't hear the lyrics though.
We can't hear the lyrics, Kwabena.
Okay.
So you can just tell us about it.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you some of the lyrics here. And I apologize for that. Let me just tell you some of these lyrics that he's spewing, and we definitely want to stay spewing on here. And he's also having a feud right now with this one of the hottest rappers out of Chicago, Lil Durk. Okay. 1.5 lyrics, NBA Young. They got so many of these, so many rappers. Okay, Smoker, come out and put that PUSSY on me. I'm gonna put that DICK up on you. Come on, do a split on me. Come do a trick on it. Come on, shake that A for me, baby. I got a lot of money. Come here, do that yay for me. Tell them, let me show you something. B, tell your N how I make you see you in with no pill. Yeah. So he's not taking a Viagra or whatever. He's still gonna make her whatever. Yeah. I don't get no F about no sex, B. I just want your neck. That means I don't want to have screw you. I want you to just give me head, pretty much. I get shit smoked off the back. Tell that PUSSYNIGGA, yeah. I told that B I won't bang. I know that PUSSYN scared. This is just the first verse. The PN said what? She told me leave that dead end alone. Wait. A few weeks later, I caught the B and bust his head. What? Sneaker Tech, knock out the back of all you B's. Yeah, dumb. Sneaker Slime, knock out the back of all you B's and send her home. We stole that car, then we pull up on the side and we send them home. Basically, they stole the car and they pull up on the side and kill somebody. Like bang, bang, B dead. Bang, 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 B gone. I just need a lot of money on me. I just need the freshest fit on me. I just need my B for to see that everything I do for her, I'm grinding hard for her ass. B, I bought a half a ticket ring for your dog ass. B, I pulled up like everything with your dog ass. This is the type of madness that's pushed constantly on the masses of our children and our people. So this is a song NBA YoungBoy is listening to when he splashes the gun. And even the NBA, while they talk about that, and so many people are talking about that, they're not even talking about, the theme music for these incidents that are taking place. And so this is out of control. We've had tens of thousands of Africans shot and killed in the last several years. In 2021, I think the US may have set a record, over 20,000 homicides. 60% of them were African people. So that's over 10,000 people. That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that this continues to happen. That was a crazy year. 2017 was another crazy year with a whole bunch of killings, especially in Chicago. Chicago had 987. It was like close to that number, just a crazy number of people homicide. One year we had like 11, almost 12 people shot every day. That was the number every day in Chicago. And if there was like 12 people shot every day, 11 of them looked like us. And we turned the radio on. That's what they're saying to do. We were on a show out of Milwaukee the other day on our brother Earl Ingram show. And it was early in the morning. So I said, well, let me monitor the station for a minute before I get on the show. I knew I was going to get some ratchetness. And so I'm hearing on this station, this song about who was the rapper? Oh, the rapper was called Nardo Wick. Nardo Wick says that he got two bitches in the car with him, one in the front seat, one in the back, and asked the question, Nardo, who you got in the back seat? The back seat, this bitch was his Glocky. It was his gun. So he had a sister in the front, and his other bitch in the back was his gun. This is on in the 7 o'clock hour in the morning. Then they played Glorilla, I think right after that, and Glorilla along with Cardi B. And this is a sister named, her real name, her slave name is Gloria, but she just put those, put the extra words in there, extra letters in there to call herself Glorilla, believe it or not. Nominated for a Grammy, nominated for, several Grammy Awards. Her name is Glorilla for her song FBCKNIGGA Free. And this is what they're playing the other morning. They're playing Glorilla, they're playing Nardo Wick. And Nardo Wick, by the way, had the song out a little while ago called Who Wants Smoke. This featured the aforementioned Lil Durk, G Herbo, used to be called Lil Herb, and also the aforementioned 21 Savage. On this song, Who Wants Smoke, he says that if 13 BNs come at me, 14 gonna get hit. So he's gonna kill everybody coming at him, and he also gonna kill somebody else, I guess, who ain't had nothing to do with it. This song had 39 million views on YouTube. They play it on the radio constantly. I can go on and on with songs like this. I got to share one more before I'll open it up and just let you all know what we got coming up in terms of things we have to do to address this, and always open for any ideas to address this crap. But there was the shooting. There was a shooting at a Sweet 16 party just west of Atlanta in the early March. I think it was early March or late February. At this shooting, I think it was either 3 or 4 Africans were shot and killed at a Sweet 16 party. Then, not too far from East Atlanta, a little further to the southwest, there's this little town called Dadesville, Alabama. I'm not sure if y'all know what happened in Dadesville, Alabama, but I'll let you know if you did. There was another Sweet 16 party happening at this spot near the town, not downtown, but the town, Dadesville. Over 30 people were shot at a Sweet 16 party. 30 people were shot. They arrested, I think 4 or 5 Africans for the shooting in Dadesville, Alabama at a Sweet 16 party. There was a couple girls hanging on to their life. I was surprised one of them was a white girl. There's 2 cheerleaders. One was a sister cheerleader, one was a white girl cheerleader. And you know, they Europeans, Alabama was the town that we saw the Kendrick Lamar concert, and Kendrick told the white girl to get off the stage, dropping N-bombs as she was singing along to his music. And I always point that out. He said, I think she did it once, did it twice. Oh no, can't have that. So he sent her off the stage. However, look out in the crowd, mostly white folks in Alabama, still rapping to the song Kendrick Lamar was making about dropping N-bombs on it. He couldn't tell him to leave the venue, but he sure was doing it. He sure was rapping, and they were rapping along, mostly Europeans in there, which is what they do all around the country at these minstrel fests that are going on right now. As a matter of fact, they had one over in Thailand earlier this year, Rolling Loud, where these minstrel artists were there too, I'm sure, dropping N-bombs on us internationally. This is how embarrassing this crap is. And so in Dadesville, when they shot up this Sweet 16 party, 30-some people shot at a Sweet 16 party. We heard this other song on the radio by Grizzly, and this one is entitled, this song is entitled 2 Million Up. Have any of y'all ever heard the song 2 Million Up? 2 Million Up is by Peasy. I'm sorry I said Greasy, but the dude's name is Peasy. And they use a funky beat from the song we all know from Cieta Garrett and Dennis Edwards from The Temptations, Don't Look Any Further.
Any further.
Yeah, they use that beat. And Peasy says in his song, and it's interesting because I heard it the same day that we got the news about all these youngsters being shot at the Sweet 16 party. So this dude's getting out of prison. So he went to he had somebody go pick him up. He said that N killed his man. He's riding with a picture of him. Shoot back to the crib and pick the switches up. Stolen car again, stolen track car. that he got tinted up, caught him outside. Now he's a blunt. So they lit him up. They killed him. Ain't no falling off. I didn't put 2 million up. So evidently he must not have killed him, but he had somebody, other people put him 2 million up on him. And that's interesting. Now they go to $2 million to kill somebody when the baby, this is how this stuff gets worse and worse. The baby on this song that Barack Obama, by the way, felt was one of his favorite songs, 2018 or 19. The baby said he gonna put 20K on your head and have your partners come kill you for just 20K. So now at least PG got it up to 2 million. He said, catch his ass at the light like Tupac and hit him up. Ain't no life after death, and you ain't big enough. There's another line in here I got to share with you on here. There's just 2 more lines in here, then we'll share this other piece. So he talks about, did my time like a gangster, never made a statement. It's FUCKNIGGAS, like I'm a racist. It's FNs, like I'm a racist. So this fool calls himself a racist in the song that we hear on the radio. He calls himself a racist. FNs like a racist. Just ridiculous. And then there's a line where he says, this is kind of makes this significant to the shooting at the Sweet 16 party. And I lost that line, but it's in here. He talks about going to a party and hitting up the party. We just misbehaved. Oh, here it is. Hit your house party. Fuck it up. We misbehaved. This is a line in this song. And this song has gotten 20-something million views last I checked. It's 20-something million views. And so somebody asked me this question a while back, Kwabena, you think it can get any worse? And yeah, it can get worse. It continues to get worse when you compare yourself to races, but you hate ends, and you talk about shooting up house parties, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what's going on. So this is a serious struggle. I was talking to Brother James McIntosh from CEMOTAP East, and we've been working with them for a minute. We've also been working with our brothers out of LA, Brother LeGrand Clegg, and those on this issue and other issues that are just real crazy now with this music and this media. And so we know CEMOTAP means the Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People. But we were talking to Brother James McIntosh, who runs CEMOTAP out of New York, with Betty Dobson, who's also in Ohio, and who just celebrated her 89th birthday. So shout out, much love to Sister Betty Dobson, serious warrior, still struggling for our people. But Doc was talking about how pervasive this stuff is, and we were talking about these numbers of these artists, these millions of numbers, and we were comparing that to the number of hits that John Henry Clark gets, or that Dr. Ben gets, or these scholars that we know and revere that they get on their messaging as compared to these ratchet killer rappers. And I said, bro, that's why we telling people when they say, well, I'm doing this little program here, or I said, even ourselves, when we go speak to a classroom of 30 children, or even speak to an auditorium where they got a couple hundred children, it pales in comparison to mass media. This is a mass media assault that's taking place on us constantly, nonstop, 24/7, 365. They don't stop. If I was to turn on the radio right now, it's the same thing going on right now. Same thing with my brother, with my brothers in LA, wherever y'all at. You turn on the radio that targets our children, you hear the same old crap about killing people. And it's out of control. So working with CEMOTAP, coming up on June 4th, Sunday, June 4th, Black Music Month, we're having this program entitled Black Panther Veterans Speak Out Against This Deaf Music. So we hooked up with some of my uncle's comrades that we talked to and worked with out of the Chicago area where we're at, out of Kansas City, Oakland, and LA. We got Brother Harold Wilson. I think Harold's been on with you before, speaking about political prisoners, or I believe he's been on the CEN before. When I first started hooking up with y'all, I saw that Harold was speaking. But Harold's going to be with us.
Harold Welton?
Harold Welton, yes.
Yeah, he's been on twice with it.
Okay, great. So Harold's going to be with us. SNCC veteran and BPP LA chapter, Southern California chapter. We got Victor Houston, This brother's been putting in work in New Orleans, Denver, but he was originally out of Oakland, out of the Oakland chapter. I think he's been in the party since '67 or '68. Came in as a teenager. We got brother David Lemieux. I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Spook Who Sat by the Door, celebrating his 50th anniversary. David Lemieux, he's going to also be speaking. He was also a former policeman in Chicago, but he's going to be speaking concerning this issue. And we got Sister Wanda Ross, who led the breakfast program in the Chicago chapter. She's also an artist. She'll be speaking with us. And Mama C, Charlotte O'Neill, is scheduled to be with us from Tanzania. And you know, Mama C, she's exiled with her husband, Pete O'Neill. She's not exiled, but she's with her husband, Pete O'Neill. She comes back every year for the Heal the Community tour. She'll be coming back this fall. But she's also going to be with us on this first weekend of Black Music Month, dealing with this critical, serious issue. And our reason for hooking up with these brothers and sisters is that, you know, we're like 50 years to the month of when Zayed Shakur was killed, or when Sundiata Akole went to prison. He just got out of prison last year, and he spent like 49 years in prison. And Asada, who was shot, also was in prison, escaped, is living now in Cuba, also in exile. They didn't go to exile. Zayed didn't get killed. Sundiata didn't spend 49 years locked up in these dungeons, fighting for our freedom, for us to be free, to make music about killing each other, about disrespecting our women, where our sisters can't even go outside to a gas station at night. You know, it's where our brothers disrespect our women and such. They had a policeman. Here we go. They had a policeman killed in Chicago the other day. A sister, 24-year-old sister. They didn't do it because they were, you know, trying to retaliate against some police killing that happened to us. No, they were just robbing women. These people who are accused of killing this sister, policewoman, had robbed 3 other women that same day. 3 other women. And I say, again, I'm gonna go back to John Morant. They're no different from John Morant in terms of how they're bewildered and influenced by this music. It just takes control of them. And this brothers can do it and possibly lose millions and millions of dollars. These other cats ain't got nothing to lose. You know, they do have something to lose, but they feel it, you know, no, they got something to lose. Like I said, they're losing their freedom now and could have lost their life, because I think she may have shot back at them, but they killed her. But they robbed 3 other sisters that day. And these songs out here, these Peasies, and the next one y'all might hear, that's what they're telling them to do. And it's so crazy that we lost 250 rappers in 2021, I believe. 250 rappers, 200 of them from homicide, from gun violence, 200 from gun violence. So that's the piece we're going to do on the 4th. We're hoping to come out of that just some more action. You know, Bob Law always admonishes us and talks to us about one simple word, and that word is therefore. With all this we talked about just now, therefore, what are we going to do about it? Therefore, you know, okay, these are the issues you talked about. Therefore, what's the next step? Therefore, what are we going to do about it? So we hope to come out of that with some therefore. We do also have a resolution pending right now in the City Council of New York. It's been pending for going on 4 years, condemning the ratchet killer radio stations in New York, largest city in the country, of course, that spreads that poison to our people. The largest city in the country, New York, where the Breakfast Club emanates. And we got a resolution condemning that station, calling on the FCC to sanction them properly, and just condemning them so we can go after their sponsors after that. We're coming up on Memorial Day weekend right now. It was Memorial Day weekend 2 years ago, when we were listening to this Breakfast Club station on the Saturday morning, Memorial Day weekend, when the #1 song in the country was a song entitled Back in Blood. The chorus of that song read, I ain't got nowhere to go. I done shot up everywhere they was. I ain't got nowhere to go. I done shot up everywhere they was. This is the song they were playing on the radio constantly in the Chicago area. This is a song, again, on Memorial Day weekend 2 years ago, was the #1 song in the country, according to the Breakfast Club from was it Power 95 or Hot 97? I think it's Power 105 or whatever, Power 95. #1 song in the country. The artist Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty is an artist who works with Gucci Man, who we mentioned, who was at that basketball game, the NBA basketball game, sanctioned by the NBA and Atlanta Hawks, to perform the day that John Morant gets reinstated back into the league. Pooh Shiesty, and also I mentioned this brother one more time. It's a Chicago rapper, Lil Durk, and Lil Durk on the song. Pooh Shiesty, that's the one that raps, I ain't got nowhere to go. I done shot up everybody was. Lil Durk talks about, we putting your man's in the morgue. My man's gonna put him in the morgue. So that's Saturday morning. By the time Monday night is over with, Memorial Day is over with, I can't think of the numbers of people who got shot in Chicago, but I do know that one of them was Lil Durk's big brother. He was shot at the strip club outside of Chicago in Dalton or Harvey, one of them cities outside Chicago, and killed, shot in the head and killed Lil Durk's older brother on that Memorial Day weekend. Pooh Shiesty was shot somebody himself at a strip club in Florida, shot the security guard in the leg. He's in jail, been in jail ever since. He didn't go to jail for shooting that dude in the leg. He got in jail. He went to jail for shooting somebody in the ass a year earlier. There's footage of him doing that on the internet. You can see him. It was some sort of robbery or something where he shot somebody earlier in Florida and they left town. They were already looking for him. Comes back again, shoots somebody in the strip club. He ain't had nowhere. I guess he had nowhere else to go. So he shot up the security guard in the leg. So both of them, he's in jail. Lil Durk's brother's dead, but yet Back in Blood was #1 song in the country for the African masses, for our children on Memorial Day two years ago, 2021. This Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, we said this the last time, we'll say it again, that this rap music has annihilated the self-respect of our people. And this is coming from a brother who does a conscious hip hop radio show. That's what she said. This is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I don't think we have too much to celebrate. Hip hop went from peace, love, unity, and having fun to war, hate, individualism, and despair.
Brother Kwabena. Brother Kwabena?
Yes.
Let's go to the panel so we can get some input from there. I'm gonna start with Sister Aziza. Sister Aziza, a comment,
Yes, I'm
question, especially about how women are targeted. Any comments or questions for Kwabena?
Well, I guess I have a comment, by me being a woman and I have experience socializing amongst my peers, it makes you feel some kind of way to be out and about, and these lyrics are playing. I just wish that one day, they can have some kind of censorship and change things, and bring it back to respect, peace, and harmony. And that's all I have to say.
All right, thanks.
Can I respond? I'll be
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So we were at a basketball game. Again, we roughly basketball, and a lot of times at the high schools they play this crap, and we constantly get on them. Not just here in Gary, the other schools surrounding, even some white schools, we had to get on them to stop playing that crap. But this one particular basketball game, it was the girls playing, a girls game, and they were playing this poison ratchetness. And we kept telling them to turn it off. They wouldn't turn it off, so we ended up pulling the plug. And so a lot of the administrators and the adults got mad, but the girls on the squad, they were like, yeah, they knew that stuff was horrible, but the administrators got mad, wouldn't cut it off, and again, the girls were cool with it. And it's just that we have to stand up. I know my sister, because I talk about this so much, she said she'll go to a club or to a party and they're playing that crap. She'll get on them and stop playing it. She'll get on them and stop playing. That's what we have to do. We have to have a no tolerance piece. We one time we tried to, and this is the type of stuff we need to do. Get with our sisters. I remember several years ago, our sisters at Spelman went off on what's the dude? It's getting hot in here because he ain't got no clothes. Who's that? Dude out of St. Louis. You know what I'm talking about?
Nelly.
They went off on Nelly. And I'm like, we need to have a campaign where our sisters all around the country, especially in these colleges, that we got to get at them and put a moratorium on that. That's why these so-called Black sororities and fraternities are so important and can play such a role in this crap. I mean, they at these college campuses, at Southern University, where I went to school at, 11 Africans were shot right outside our frat house, brother Dr. Charles, right at the frat house, at a party steps away from campus. And at that concert, I believe it was Nardo Wick, Freddie Frito Bangs, and the City Girl. telling people to shoot people. And so 11 people get shot at the Capitol party that night. This was in November of this past year. So yeah, we gotta step it up, sister, and protect our sisters from this madness. I have this button on. I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, here's another one. It's called Turn It Off. We have a campaign called Turn It Off from the National Black Leadership Alliance. And it's an embarrassing, ridiculous button because what it says is that turn off any source of music that demeans and degrades our women, turn off any source of music that calls for the shooting and killing of Black people. Just crazy we got to even have a button like this. Turn it off.
All right. Thanks, Sister Aziza. Sister making it happen.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, family. Hotep. Definitely a heavy topic. Lots of therefores, and so lots of action that needs to take place in our circles, so that yeah, we bring awareness and people can take action and shut it off and demand that it's not played, and have that zero tolerance for the madness that's being played, that's programming our youth and programming everyone on self-destruction. So I'm thankful for this information, and I therefore will take action in my circles and make sure that I'm spreading the word, and love to get some of those buttons and begin to help to spread the word. So thank you so much for everything that you had to say today.
Okay, I'm putting my email in the chat so you can get at me so we can get some of these buttons to you. And I wanted to also address, and I'm glad you want to come work with us, but our group is called the Clear the Airwaves Project, and we're at cleartheairwavesproject.org. And the sister previous also, she said something about censorship, and we get a lot of that. Y'all calling for censorship, y'all calling for censorship. But again, I mentioned Bob Law earlier. I don't know if I did or not. Bob Law says that they're the ones that censoring. If it's not talking about killing people, disrespecting women, drug abuse, materialism, dropping N-bombs on us, or misogyny or stripping, they censor it. They censor it.
Great point. Great point. Yes, sir. All right, Dr. Charles, thanks for coming. Let's hear from you, sir.
Good evening again, brothers, and thank you, Brother Kwabena, as usual, for doing that work. And wanted to share a couple of concepts that I think help to put this into context. One is psychological misorientation, which is the overt and cognitive behavioral orientation to reality that derives from ideation itself. When said ideation is based in Eurasian concepts, beliefs, and definitional systems. And so this is a concept that is developed by Kobe Cambone, and he calls this the most fundamental manifestation of mental illness that Black folks experience, and that is that our point of reference is, this is what our point of reference looks like as we manifest these, Eurocentric kind of concepts and the materialism that comes from this basis. And Naim Akbar also adds material depression, and it's that that form of depression that we get because of our lack of material wealth, or whatever these things are, particularly like these things that they're rapping about in these songs. All of these songs have a material aspect or contact to them. Very, it's about things and the objectification of Black folks, particularly Black women, but really Black men and Black women. and so it's easy to see the continuum if we're suffering from this misorientation, because our point of reference reflects the internalization of this Eurocentric worldview, which then leads or just necessarily pushes us in a space where we are disconnected. And once we are disconnected, we can say and do anything to each other.
Yes.
That's I mean, brother, you take it there, it's deep. But and you shared something. You were with us several years ago. We did a piece called Music and Mental Health. And Dr. Charles was with us. And he was also talking about the adrenaline. I think it was the adrenaline or something, or the type of energy you get when you get hyped up, and how it's not cool to be all the time, even how that affects us. And I thought that was a very serious point that you shared with us on that day, and how that can affect us mentally. Because I was talking to somebody, I think when I was in LA, the last time I was in LA, they were talking about how that music makes them even drive crazy. Make something like that. So if you can, even touch on that a little bit also for it.
Yes. So when we're listening to this this aggressive music and this hateful music, it triggers our fight or flight response. And so that creates for us, the cascade of stress hormones, of both adrenaline and cortisol, and we get stuck in that space in our bodies, and it makes us so it's not surprising that as you're describing the circumstance that occurred, you say out in front of the frat house, if you have this music that's giving you a message, and then that music is triggering, the content of the music is also triggering the fight or flight response, which in and of itself is going to have you on edge because that's what it's designed to do. It doesn't take much. If you then add, let's say, some alcohol or some weed or some other, some other substance in the mix for people to do things that are harmful to themselves and other people, because we are stuck in that mode, in that fight or flight space. And you have that, again, you have the all those elements coming together. You have the substances, you have the content, and then you have the neurophysiological response going on inside that's driving, that more excited state, or actions in that more excited state.
Right on.
All right. Hey, that's some great information right there. And man, I'm listening and I'm like, wow. Brother Mashinda, I know you said you wasn't going to say much this evening, but can you tell us what you read about with John Morant right quick, Brother Mashinda? I guess Brother Mashinda is incognito this evening. Let me.
If he comes on a little later too, I'd be interested to hear. But it's like I'm just thinking again.
I could read what he sent. It
just
says,
Dr. Charles said, it just explains it. It just explains it. It explains it. Part of that explains the behavior.
Yeah, but it said that John Morant had to be visited by the police today for a wellness visit. Thought he was going to kill himself. Now, I didn't hear that. Did anybody else hear that?
Yeah, I kind of commented on that today a little earlier when I talked about how they were checking on him. They were concerned about him his response. What I read his response was that he just got off social media, so nobody had heard from him. And that's when I said, I think, well, not only should he get off social media, he should get off that ratchet.
Yeah, he posted a tweet of some sort, or Instagram message or something, where he was acknowledging members of his family, and then just at the bottom of it said bye. And Not sure if people read into that, like that was like some kind of veiled suicidal threat or something of that nature. And so the police went and checked on him and found him to be okay.
Okay.
That happened earlier in the day.
So basically he was kind of saying he's gonna get off social media and it wasn't nothing about suicide or anything.
Yeah, and we're saying get off that ratchet music too.
Okay. All right.
Soul, give him some neo soul or some jazz or something, give him some classical. So I don't know, but get off of that, man.
Yeah, you could get some more motivational music to make you be wiser in basketball games and win more. All right. Brother Joe. Brother Joe. So we gonna go to, oh, there he is. Brother Joe.
Yeah. No, man, I don't have any comments on that, on the information. Good to know, but I got a question. The brother's in Chicago, right?
Yes, in the Chicago area, in Gary, in the Chicago area, yeah. Gary, Indiana.
Okay. I was wondering, with all of the stuff going on in the streets in Chicago, I was curious to know, is there a presence there by the nation? And are they doing anything to try to curtail all the stuff that's going on in the streets?
At one point, they were having marches and control of certain areas, but right now, I don't know of any specific program. I know some members of the nation who work with some groups that try to help out with peacekeeping and what have you. But in terms of a specific program, I'm not aware of anything right now that specifically is dealing with that. I'm not sure if you are, Brother Charles, but again, I think the best thing that they can do, or that we can do in Chicago, is go shut down these killer radio stations. We got a new mayor, Brandon Johnson, and Brandon is progressive, brother. And even when they talk about the youth, when the youth kind of went wild a couple hot weekends ago, they did the same thing in Detroit that weekend too. But he was like, we can't be condemning our children like that, and we want to prevent these things before they happen. So we've reached out to several people. We reached out to Dr. Adams, Dr. Hunter, and just I know a teacher that knows for the teachers union, and Urban League president, used to be the mayor Gary. We reached out to a few more people. And Charles, you may know somebody too. We want to get at it. His thing, and I was talking to Brother Creamer about it today. His thing is preventive. He wants to prevent these things from happening. And so the best way to do it, we feel, is to stop the programming. We believe what Steve Biko said: the greatest weapon in the hands of the oppressed is the minds of the oppressed. They tear our minds up with this constant bombardment of kill your own people music and disrespect women and all that music. So tell these white European-owned radio stations, Crawford Broadcasting and iHeart, y'all got to stop. We got to make them stop. They wouldn't do it to anybody else, any other group of people, only us. And we got to make them stop.
In response to the brother's question, I mean, I'm not aware of any other new or targeted initiative by the nation, but they continue to do what they've always done, and that is, to have the mosque open, and brothers are out and about. One thing that I think is probably going on maybe a little more now than has been at some other times is that they are, more embedded in other activities that are going on and sponsored by other groups and organizations, whatever those things might be. Some of them are specifically, towards, the violence and things of that nature, but it's really more, more diffuse in that, where there is a need for, more boots on the ground, that the nation is active in other activities in addition to those things that they do for themselves. And yes, Brother Kwabena, with regard to to the new mayor, Mayor Johnson. You know, he is committed to both increasing summer, not even summer jobs. He wants year-round employment and activity for the young folks, and with a heavy dose of preventive care, and also he wants to reopen the mental health facilities that prior mayoral candidates or prior mayors have closed. So it's about providing services in the community so that we can address some of these ills that are driving folks into this escapist behavior.
And Doc, we just feel too that, I mean, again, we know we got to deal with these mental health issues, as you know, but reading, it was Amos Wilson, I think it was Amos Wilson, talked about you got to change society. We got a society that's creating all these mental health issues. Maybe there's something wrong with society. I'm sure that's what you deal with. And if we keep saying open up more mental health facilities, but at the same time allow these radio stations to bombard our children with this madness that's screwing up their psyche, and you got them on edge all the time, like you said, we just pissing in the wind. Got to put a stop to that poisonous propaganda that's targeting our children, toxicity that's targeting our children, our youth. And all these artists, I don't know these artists, but the children do. They know all of them. My little niece once told me about NBA YoungBoy. I had never heard of him.
The other thing, brother, that as you're talking about the the hypocrisy of the National Basketball Association, it was interesting to hear people's comments regarding last year's, this past season's All-Star game. So this past season, most of the music for the halftime show was world music.
Yeah, Tim's and Burna Boy.
And folks was mad. Folks was mad about that. Never really heard people be mad about the ratchet music. Heard, people was mad. They said, like, what is this stuff? Right? But they play the ratchet stuff all the time. People don't complain. And that's the other thing, like with the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, that's what they play at timeouts all the time. They play 3-6 Mafia. What is it? 3-6 Mafia? Is that what they call it?
Out of Memphis, yeah.
Yeah, they play them. That's the music that they play at timeouts. That's the music that they play when they, just throughout the game, whatever.
So you guys are saying that insanity is normalized.
Yeah.
All right.
That becomes the issue. That's the psychological misorientation.
Yeah.
Right? And so we've internalized this stuff. We don't know, scores of us don't know that we're wrong or that we're off because we're thinking like the aggressor. We're thinking like the enemy. And so if that's how he thinks, then this must be right because this is his thing.
Wow. Let me go to Professor Rock. Professor Rock.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, Brother Kwabena, it's always good to hear you. Always good to see everybody that's on the panel, but deeply appreciate your work and your commitment to uplifting our people consciousness to the harmful effects of this form of music and the devastating effect it's having on our community and things of that nature. I just have a few questions though, and I know it's challenging from that standpoint. And I think Brother Dr. Alexander would know this, that one of the most challenging classes that we have in behavioral sciences is statistics. And that's, how you study. And we have to look at who is most susceptible to this type of music, that they get addicted to it and they try to act it out. How many are with foster parents or placement home? How many are have been in jail where they listen to it and in prison? And at the same time, who's really promoting it? You know, when we coming up, I mean, it was Alameen H. Rap said, arm yourself or harm yourself. We used to have 38s, 22s, zip guns. We didn't do it on mass level that these people are doing it because we had love music at that time. The challenge that we have is that there are many people that just let their kids listen to whatever they want. You know, they got earphones. As long as they're quiet and don't bother them, they don't even ask them what they're listening for. Where they say, take your headphones off. I had a partner of mine. He told his son, don't listen to rap. And he found his son was listening to rap. He collected all his son's CDs and broke them with a hatchet. You understand? And just to demonstrate, I ain't saying, I never had that issue with my kids, but I'm just saying that their efforts to deal with social media, I think the Surgeon General just came out that it's a danger to our youth. And that they meant all youth. But at the same time, it has a particular damage to us when we don't practice a cultural or ethical values or raise our children in the cultural consciousness, ethical values. When it came to the Nation of Islam, their solution is join us and we'll convert you. We'll help get you off of alcohol, drugs, and that crazy music and give you a job selling papers or fish or whatever products they have and teach you how to be a bodyguard or something like that. Because they're more concerned now with Farrakhan's health and they're more concerned with dealing with outside groups for economic reasons. But the point is that you have all these artists that have free, and then you had the underground. I remember when rap first came out, people were selling these CDs out in the trunk of their car. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and then all of a sudden, main media saw it was money. I mean, it made so many of our people multimillionaires. I mean, you know, and many of them don't even live the life they're singing about. You know, some of them are trying to act. I don't understand the hairdos. I don't understand putting all that gold or silver in your mouth. I mean, you know, that's what they want to do. I mean, yeah, you know, but, you know, Morant got all that in his mouth and tattoos all on you like you're a sailor. You know, I mean, I don't understand. And, you know, and you got women doing it. You know, tattoos and doing all this when they bumping in their cars like men, getting it from their boyfriends or getting it from the DVD. You know, at one time, BET used to have those rap videos with Lil Wayne, all of them, Lil Luther, all of them was on there, and you know, dealing with women in hot tubs or pouring liquor on the women and stuff like that in the video, because when you make a record, you also have to make a video. Now, my problem, my issue is what you're doing, Kwabena, is a monumentous effort to try to educate. And you have a low budget, but you're doing it from the heart, and you're doing it because you're trying to save people's lives. Here are people doing it for money. It's like they're tearing up the environment for money. You know they're killing the world, killing the planet, and they still don't want to stop doing what they're doing, encourage it. They don't care nothing about the killing of us by the influence of rap, by police, by accident, it don't make no difference to the person who got killed because they dead by accident or on purpose. The music is a mood thing. I mean, we used to listen to it, we used to dedicate it to our women, you know, Daddy's Home, all kind of old songs, you know. But at the same time, this is a different generation, and they have so much access with peers in school saying, let me show you something. They got their phone at lunchtime. Let me let you listen to this. And you don't let your kids listen to it. Then there's the concept of the forbidden fruit. If you tell me don't do it, I'm gonna do it. Like Eve in the garden. You understand? And so it's not a hopeless battle because you know we supposed to be still in slavery. If the people didn't struggle, we'd be out of it. But at the same time, we got to figure out a way in which parental or guardians become aware of this. And we got to get to people like Roland Martin on this show. We got to get to churches. We got to get to where the masses of the people are. But, you know, it's hard when the minister is trying to build a mega church versus building strong lives in youth. And so, you know, although they want youth, because that means they'll be in church longer, but the majority of our youth are not affected to a lot of this stuff. People in two-parent homes have more of an opportunity to guard in, especially when there's a strong brother there that say, hey, look, you can't listen to that. Or you know, educate their kids to why they shouldn't. We have to look at some of the other factors other than, you know, not just, I'm pretty sure you're doing it, Kwabena, other than just attacking the music industry and the artists. You know, like the best cure to any problem is prevention. And people like me, Joe Hembrick, Brother Rasuli, and Bashinda. I mean, I've never listened to rap songs. I mean, I just don't do it. You know, I'm still. I got my own music that I bought years ago, and I'm still listening to that. You understand? I just, if it ain't the Dramatics, the Four Tops, the Temptations, the Miracle, you know, Jerry Butler, you understand? You know, all that era. But I understand my kids listen to Jay-Z and things of that nature, but they're grown now. And there is still some people doing conscious rap. And I don't know how you can stop, you know, here's a man in Florida saying he don't want us to study our history, but he is mentioning about listening to bad music, you know, or things of that nature. We're in a hell of a struggle when it comes down to trying to get our youth to boycott, because that's what we're really calling for. All negative music with negative influence. If it don't have a message in it, it should be an instrumental. But I commend you on your work, brother, doing the research on this rap and getting the lyrics and showing the detrimental effects that it could have on people. And as Dr. Alexander knows, behavior, I mean, music influences people. It's the universal language of the world. It changes moods, ups and downs. That's where the blues came in. That's where, you know, white folks used to play heavy metal, bite the chicken head off on the concert. And, you know, Jimi Hendrix used to break his guitars, you know, all in violence like a thing. And then it's not only just the music, it's the motion pictures. It's the, you know, I mean, gruesome. Scream, kill, and kill again. And all of that subliminal thing. So we have to spend more time on the child development, as Dr. Alexander would focus on, as Amos Wilson would focus, as most of the Black psychologists, to get them to understand. You know, it's like we demonize saying you're a lie. You know, at one time you couldn't call another person a lie. You know, I'm fighting words. We demonize things like making a sin. You know, the churches, you know, oh, you're a sinner, blah, 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 blah. And so we have to somehow infuse this consciousness that you got, brother, into a cultural movement, whereas people love themselves so much they don't contaminate their brains. And I don't know how we can do it other than, you know, like, there's no curriculum that I know of that shares your wealth of knowledge. In public schools, they talk about testing. But we got to get back to social ethics and cultural ethics. And I'm just saying that what you just taught us today, taught me today, and you know, about all these devilish lyrics is amazing, you know, and it should be a thing that they have classes on that and have classes also on the environment. So people will be aware of it. We're still contributing to this unconsciously. And I have to be the men, the youth that are subject to this music. It's unconscious. You know, they're in the fog world. John Morant is in the fog world.
Yeah.
You know, he's a multimillionaire acting like a 3-year-old. But anyway, I just want to say, man, I love your presentations. I hope you come back again with more information on it. I took notes, all kind of notes, brother, so that whenever I have the opportunity, I'm gonna raise this issue, brother, and talk about the good work that y'all doing. The conference you're gonna have for Juneteenth, is it gonna be virtual, or is it, are y'all gonna be able, are we gonna be able to get into it? Is it a cost? What is it?
You know, the piece we're gonna have with CMOTAP, that's gonna be June 4th, first weekend of Black Music Month. So that's gonna be online. And I got it on my Facebook page, and I'll make sure we share it to brother, so we can get it up so everybody can see it. But it's
Yeah, well, give us your Facebook if you don't mind us joining, being friends.
man, definitely Clear the Airwaves Project. Clear the Airwaves as an ocean waves. Clear the Airwaves Project. And we got a collective that we're working with the Nubian Leadership Circle on the arts and culture cadre. And our collective is called the Elevated Arts and Culture Collective. So we're working to identify these radio stations who play this poison. In our collective, we're a collective of artists in support of the arts who pledge to support and make content that's uplifting the African masses. And part of our pledge, if you decided you were not going to do something, we catch you doing something that ain't like that, you know, we're going to put you out. Or if you want to do it, just get out on your own. Because if you pledge not to make that detrimental crap, that's not what we need in a time such as this. But the Zoom meeting is we got original Black Panther veterans demanding an end to the murder music. And that's going to be Sunday, June 4th at 2:00. CMOTAP. CMOTAP means the Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People. And, you know, we got Brother LeGrand Clegg, like I said, our home brother out there in LA, and also our people out here on the East Coast and in the Midwest, Betty Dobson and James McIntosh doing that thing. So, bro, we appreciate you, man. We wanted to share that we talk about how difficult this issue is. And do want to share about the artists, because a lot of people get on them sometime about y'all attacking the artists. And we know we don't let the artists off the hook. We don't. However, we know that the main culprit in this is this industry and those people who are controlling them. Sometimes, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we hear, it doesn't take much talent. And so if an artist gets killed, like we mentioned, the 250 rappers who died and the hundreds who die every year, or if they go to jail, or if they said we're gonna stop doing conscious music and stop playing that crap, they'll find somebody else. And we understand that. But in the meantime, if we don't get on these artists, at least, you know, challenge them, they'll continue to do that and continue to spread this madness to the masses. They're pawns, and they're being used as pawns against the masses of our people, and we have to understand that. Now we can defeat this stuff. Me and I met Brother Charles through this good brother. He's an ancestor now, Brother Kwesi Ron Harris, and he led us on a fight against the tobacco industry. The tobacco industry was using hip hop to try to get more smokers. That killed off so many smokers, they needed more. And so they had a cool DJ mix contest, and he helped organize us with the National Anti-Black Anti-Tobacco Network. Maybe I'm messing that up. But he organized us to fight against these beasts, and we defeated them. They were sued, and we're to the point right now, I think it's only 14% of the people in the US smoke cigarettes now. Only 14%. And brother, y'all know, and everybody was smoking cigarettes back in the day. And so we give Robert Kwesi.
A lot of people.
Yeah. We give Robert Kwesi and his organizational efforts a lot of credit in that saving so many lives and so many younger people from becoming smokers. Now we got a whole new situation with this vaping and other stuff, but that tobacco, we knocked a lot of that out. But also, Gary, like I said, I was just at a meeting with our Black Lives Matter chapter. We stopped the second largest prison corporation in the country, GEO Prisons, came in here talking about it was Gary employment opportunities. We defeated them not once, but twice, trying to build a detention center prison here in Gary. And so if the people organize properly, we can defeat these giants, these beasts, and I really think so. I really think we can do that. So I appreciate, man, the opportunity to get on here and share, man, that this community education network is so important to our people. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come on here and share. I wanted to send some love out. I mentioned our brother Bob Law, and I heard you on there with brother Bob Law a couple months ago on the show. I think you on there with him for a minute, Professor, on Bob Law.
Yeah.
I heard you on there.
I forget the name of it. It won't come to me. Yeah, I was on there talking about guns or something.
Yeah, I heard you on there talking about, but he's going through some health challenges, as is our brother Chicago, Nana Olamenchi. Just want to send them brothers some love, man. Those are veterans in our struggle. So both of them are challenged with some health issues right now. They're doing better from what I understand, but we just want to send them some love too.
I think that was Carl Nelson I was on.
Oh, was it Carl Nelson?
Yeah, it was Carl Nelson.
Okay.
Carl Nelson. Yeah, because I had to get up early and he called me. We used to work close when he was in LA, KGLA.
Okay.
And I was supposed to talk about immigration, but then he wanted to talk about guns, so that's what we ended up doing. Violence.
Yeah, we got a lot of work to do. I think about I give us credit. I think the NBA got some of our messages when they just had Tim's and Burna Boy at that halftime show, because I was really hoping that they wouldn't have. I don't want these killed, N-bomb dropping Africans performing anywhere, but to be performing in Utah, especially, with nothing in there, nothing out there, but pretty much crackers. And you dropping N-bombs for them. That's almost as bad as Alabama.
All right.
Right. Well, man, this was excellent as usual, Brother Kwabena and Dr. Charles, Brother Mashinda, Sister Aziza, Sister Making It Happen, Brother Hembrick. It's always wonderful when we can come together and get some good information like this and be proactive in coming up with solutions. Appreciate all the good work everybody does. And Kwabena, keep up the great work. And I know you'll be back on soon. So that'll be good. Dr. Charles, you too, and the regular crew.
Appreciate you again, brother. I did want to say real quick though, before you go, that I mentioned this forum with CEMOTAP on June 4th at 2:00 Eastern time. Original Black Panther vets demand music, the end of the murder music. Also on June 3rd, Nubian Leadership Circle is having, I think, our 8th virtual summit. That's going to be online too. So for more information on that, check out nubianleadershipcircle.org. And our guest speaker there is Nuri Muhammad. He's one of the young brothers doing this thing for the Nation of Islam. So
yeah, Nuri Muhammad. Yeah. So if you can get that information to me, we could post it on the website.
Okay, sure will.
Okay. So appreciate that. So next week we got brother Muko coming back. He's filling in for this one guest I had And I guess we can't seem to get him on, but we'll get him on, hopefully, brother from the nation. So we're gonna talk about value systems, and then also, what else we gonna talk about? I got it right here. And I can't recall the other, he had texted to me, but I know we're gonna be talking about value systems, and he has another topic. So it'll be on the website. And Professor Ra, who you got Monday?
I think Ayatollah Muhammad, he's going to be talking about the mission that they're on, going around the country. Guns down, gloves up, something like that. They're speaking, they got contracts to go around the country. And, we also want to take time to give homage to Brother Jim Brown when he was trying to move American, for all the good he brought in the world, and may it last forever, may none be lost. He did try to make an effort with young kids, and you talking to gang members and trying to convert people that's got out to prisons, and that stuff about being with Trump and all that. People change and get older, but they supported Nixon, him, Bill Russell, Sammy Davis Jr. in 1968. I'll never forget it. Somewhere around there. But my point is that we want to remember him for what the good he did in our communities, spending his money, taking people up to his house, and trying to change young people's minds, getting them jobs and things of that nature. So that's the Jim Brown I knew. And I was on a number of programs with him, and many, he's a good brother in person. You understand?
So Rob, we also coming up on your 2-year anniversary, which is the 25th. Matter of fact, tomorrow Conscious Corner has been on for 2 years.
Now, on Monday, this Monday, we're going to be, I'm trying to get the link that you can post. It's African Liberation Day, May 29th, from the African American Culture Center. And they're going to have guest speakers from around the world. I have an African community talking about liberation. We do it every year.
So we're not going to be on this Monday then?
I mean, I'm one of the speakers, so I can't be on.
Okay, so we won't have a show this Monday. Okay.
But we will list it.
Yeah, we can list the link.
Yeah.
Sankofa Revolutionary Radio too. I should have mentioned this also. They have a piece for the AAPRP tomorrow, and they have their online ALD program going on tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 25th. Yeah. So
that's the original date of it, but we changed it to the White Man Memorial Day. On his Memorial Day is our Liberation Day. The white race. Yeah.
Okay. Well, good. So I have the title. It's value systems, and then migrants. Are we getting their best? So we're going to be talking about migrants on next Wednesday.
All right.
All right, good folks. We're going to take our pause. Then we'll be back again on next Wednesday and then the following Monday. So each one teach one in Conscious Corner. Everybody have a good evening. Brother Kwabena.